Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Makahakwadash. Today we are going to be going into another part of the series of breaking down God's laws, and we will be tackling the section of the treatment of the Gentiles. Okay, now the word Gentile is a general word that usually means people of the other nations, people outside of Israel. However, historically speaking, when we were separated and cast into different parts of the nations, and for the most part partook of the cultures of the other nations, we considered them Gentiles too, because they did not live and act as if they were Yasharallah, Prince of the Power, which is Yahweh. They were going after other gods and things of the like. So they were in a Gentile mindset and lifestyle, so they were considered like them. Okay? So we're going to go into, which is technically law number 53. And we'll go into some more details because there's a lot of layers to this one. Even though there's few laws on it, there's a lot of layers to it. So number 53 says to love the stranger. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 10 and 19 and 16:11 King James Bible. Deuteronomy 10. Verse 19. Let's see here. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Simple. Now, we're going to go into that a little bit. Because, well, what is stranger? Well, we're going to go into the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about strangers. We're going to break it down. They're going to give three relative terms of what a stranger is. Okay? So, you have Gar, you have Teshawa, and you have Zar. Okay? A Gar, or Teshawa, was a foreigner who put himself under the protection of Israel and of Israel's God, which is Yahweh, who submitted to many requirements of the law of Israel, and who was therefore given certain privileges not accorded to the Nakrai and the Zar, who were also called strangers. So think of in the Exodus when there were other people, even Egyptians and whatnot, who left with us when we left Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt. They would be considered Gar or Tashawa if they worship Yahweh and followed God's laws. Another example would be Ruth. You know, she was a Moabite. Now, even with that, that's a technicality on a technicality, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, because she put away her false god she had already married into our brethren Israelites, but she became widowed, and then she also, in short, she ended up marrying Boaz, and she did not bring her original culture into our land. She came unto us and became like us. So, you know, she's good. All right. Also, Zar. Well, let's continue into this definition. Okay. The Gar was also allowed to rest on the Sabbath and was supposed to be treated kindly, which we'll go into that more in the law. There's laws on that. He was classed with the Levite, the fatherless, and the widow. He offered sacrifices to Yahweh and was expected to observe various ceremonial and other Slovakia, and other requirements. The Nakrai was a foreigner who did not have or share the culture with Israel, since his allegiance was claimed by another people and other deities. He was forbidden to enter the sanctuary. Interest could be exacted from him. The czar was not necessarily a foreigner. The meaning of the word may be determined from its context. It is often used of foreigners as people entirely different from or even hostile to Israel. So now you get into, it could be, again, one of us who has gone and was scattered amongst another nation, and said nation was hostile towards Yasharallah, Israel, and they took on that spirit. So anything that they came with, quote unquote, rhetoric, or their the way they move, their mode of operations that would cause us to sin against the Most High, they would be considered a czar, even if they are our own blood. So you could also be called a stranger, not necessarily in a wholly negative sense. Say you went on travels and you were gone for a certain amount of time, and you were in another country, and when you came back, some of your movements weren't like ours. They were like that of the nation that you dwelt in. You know, they might, hey stranger, how you doing? You know, you're doing things that are strange to here. We don't do that here. So it's got some variables to it. Okay. Number 54. Not to wrong the stranger in speech. Exodus chapter 22 and 20. This is also talking about the Gar, the Tashawah, right? So Exodus 22 and 20. Verse 20. And it says, he that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. Let's go 19. Or let's go up. Yeah, let's go start with 19. Whosoever lieth with the beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, ye shall be utterly destroyed. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger, nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry unto me, I will surely hear their cry. So we're not supposed to do them wrong. Even if they are born of a different people, but they cling unto us and to our culture and to our God, first and foremost to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and they take hold to our customs, God's laws, and they're doing it, then we are to treat them like they are us. So that's a commandment. Okay, number 55. Not to wrong the stranger in buying or selling. This is still the Gar and the Tashawah, those who clung to us and with us. Okay, but anybody, we're not supposed to. I'm not supposed to sell these pair of shoes for $20 to you and $80 to you. No. The shoes cost however much the shoes cost to make and to produce. Anything else, you're price gouging. We're not supposed to do that. However, when it comes to lending, we can lend at interest to a specific type of stranger, and we'll get into that. Okay. Number Number 56. Okay, it says not to intermarry with Gentiles, people of other nationalities, non-Israelites. And we're going to go into it because, well, but you just said that the Gar and the Tashua are like unto us. Yes, but remember, there's different levels of Gentile, and we'll get into that. It's going to be touching more so on the Nakrai. Okay, so but we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Okay, and it says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. So, it's not that God was just being racist. He's saying, if you marry into these other nations, the likelihood that they will follow Yahweh is slim to none, because you're going to have confusion in the house. You can't serve two masters, let alone most Gentiles were considered to be pagan and polytheists, so they usually had many gods. And we know that Yahweh is a jealous God. He don't share the throne with nobody. So there's a reason. It's not just, I hate all Gentiles. No. The likelihood is more so that and usually the mother, the mothers are usually the first teachers of children. So sure, they may marry in too, but if they're not hankered into Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, they're going to naturally just impart what they were raised on, which is that of the other nations, other deities. God don't like that. Okay, not for his special people. Okay, when it comes to marrying a foreign man, the man is the head of the household. So you're now subjecting yourself under this man who is under these other deities. Again, going against Yahweh. It's a no-no. Okay? Two more in this section and we'll be done. Okay? To exact the debt of an alien / non-Israelite. We're not talking about graves and and all that stuff. We're not. Alien is a form of illegal aliens, as we think, right? Oh, you come from a different nation, not space cadets and all that. Okay, so we're gonna go to Deuteronomy 15 and 3. Okay, and it says, of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother thine hand shall release. So we're going to start from verse 1. At the end of every 7 years you shall make a release, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth out unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release. Of a foreigner you mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother and thine hand shall release it. Save, or except, when there shall be no poor among you. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Okay? So, we're supposed to exact the debt of Nekrai. These are Gentiles who are not really on our sides, so to speak. We don't share the same cultures or the same God. Okay? They're not considered akin spiritually like that, or to the Tsar for that matter. Okay, and we're going to go into our last one, which is 58, and it is to lend to an alien at interest. Now, again, this is not grays, green skin, reptilian type people. These are just people of the other nations, okay? So we're going to go Deuteronomy chapter 23. And verse 21. Turn right to it. And it says, When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it will be sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee. That which is gone out of thy lips, thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. Okay? Let's see. And let's see. Let's go up to verse 20. Okay? Unto a stranger you mayest lend up upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Okay? So, we can. It's not necessarily a must, but you can. Okay? So, that covers treatment of the Gentiles. Okay? It's its own little section. I hope to see you guys next time, and the going into marriage, divorce, and family. There are laws in dealing with them. Okay? Shalom.